A few years back, I was always in the very frustrating place where bills would constantly pile up, and yet I had no money to pay them off. If you have ever been in this situation, then you probably know that it can be really stressful and hard on you. The good news is that over time I did manage to prowl my way out of this situation, and you can too. Therefore, in today's video, I'll be sharing with you all tips, tricks, and strategies that you can use to get out of this situation and hopefully get ahead in your own personal finances. Stay tuned. However, before I get into the topic, do me a favor. Subscribe and hit that like button because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. And now let's get into it. All right. So, the list begins with 1. Keep track of your spending. You've probably already heard this a million times, and you are going to hear it again today, simply because it works and because you are probably not doing it. Basically, it should always be a priority. Make sure that every single penny you spend is clearly accounted for. The basic goal of expense tracking is to find and get rid of inefficient spending patterns in your financial life. Additionally, maintaining control over your finances and encouraging better financial practices like saving and investing will come from continuously keeping track of your costs. Basically, in the words of Peter Drucker, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So this is what you should do to get in control of your spending habits. First, analyze your categories of spending to determine which are the most crucial. Perhaps you might even find out that you've been paying for a subscription that you're not using. I know I have, and maybe you are too. Most people consider that cutting back on these non-essential expenses is a wise approach to saving money. You might also want to go for activities that are less expensive now that you can see where your money is going. And on top of saving money, you'll be getting educated on some of the topics you'll be reading about. So, there really isn't much to lose by doing this. 2. Make a budget. I never understood why most people didn't have a budget until recently. You see, most people are worried about all the paperwork to be done to complete a budget. Well, in truth, it's a lot of work, but it most certainly is worth it. You see, you should look at budgeting from a different angle. Look at the positives and look at how much is it going to benefit you. And once you've got a rhythm going, make sure you stick to it. I found this to be the only way that works, so make sure you don't lose the momentum. If you create a budget and then store it away in a file or folder on your bookshelf or filing cabinet, it's simply worthless. So make sure you're constantly updating and reviewing it. You can also use digital apps and software to make this task a lot easier. There are a bunch of really good free ones online, which you can find with a quick search. And if you are interested, I created a free savings and budgeting guide, which you can get with the link in the descriptions. 3. Give yourself a limit on unbudgeted spending. Buying something in the spur of the moment that you hadn't budgeted for can be enjoyable and emotionally satisfying. Literally everyone knows that. However, that emotional high may pass quickly, leaving you with impulsive purchases you don't actually need or want. If this is you, then the bitter pill to swallow is that this has to stop. In fact, it's the entire opposite of good money habits. Next time you are in the mall, try using the 1% rule for spending money. This rule states that you have to wait a day before buying anything that costs more than 1% of your yearly gross income. So if you make $60,000 a year, the rule states that you need to wait a day before making a purchase of over $600. This guideline applies to discretionary spending on items you desire, but don't require. Basically, the inner battle in your mind of, do I really need this? Do I want this? The 24-hour cooling off period gives you time to reconsider your purchase. Why not take an additional day to consider if you actually need it? After 24 hours, you might not anymore. So next time you go shopping, remember what that guy from Practical Wisdom told you to try. 4. Save for big purchases. Seeing a beautiful $4,000 advertisement of a stunning 90-inch flat screen, 8K television. I mean, imagine the things you can see on that TV. does not mean that you should immediately pick up your phone and credit card and start dialing the number on the screen. That's a really bad idea. Remember the rule that the guy from Practical Wisdom told you about, the 24-hour one. Remember that. So experts suggest that if you really want that big TV, then it's best that the money comes from your savings account, which is dedicated for such purchases, not a credit card loan, unless you have a really good plan to pay the money back, which 99% of people don't. Also, there are countless advantages that come with saving for a big or expensive purchase. You may be able to negotiate a cheaper price, or at the very least, better financing conditions if you save up and pay cash. The price could drop as well. Additionally, for a larger purchase, getting a loan may make more sense, especially if it's an item with appreciating value, like a home, or if it prevents you from taking money out of your savings or investment account, as paying in cash for the big expensive TV might leave you with little to spend. Therefore, it's wise to save up for a while before you buy the products you need or desire. Therefore, it's sensible to start saving for that specific thing so that your daily life is not disrupted. 5. Read books about finance. It's true when they say that if you want to hide something, just put it on paper. The sad truth is that most people never bother to read. You see, some of the things people choose to ignore, such as the information contained in books, has a good chance of making them successful if they bother to read them. Learning is a continuous process, and the more you do it, the sharper your skills become. The ability to make wise financial decisions is the chief advantage of financial literacy. It gives us the information and abilities we need to properly manage our finances, including budgeting, saving, borrowing, and investing. As a result, we are better positioned to meet our financial objectives and establish financial stability. It's kinda like a superpower, and it really puts you in a comfortable situation knowing that you are in control of your financial destiny. 6. Lower your monthly bill. Cutting your monthly spending is one of the simplest ways to gain control of your money. While you might not be able to cut back on certain permanent costs, like rent or vehicle payments without making significant lifestyle changes, you can cut back on variable costs, like clothes or entertainment, by being adaptable and thinking sparingly. To begin saving on things like your energy bills, you may, for instance, use less power, pick a different life or home insurance company, or shop for your groceries at bulk discounts. Additionally, you shouldn't accept a loan just because your salary and credit make you eligible for one. Many people believe that the bank will not give them a credit card or a loan that they cannot afford, but the bank is only aware of the income you have disclosed and the debt shown on your credit report. The bank is unaware of any other commitments that would make it difficult for you to make timely payments. Based on your income and other monthly responsibilities, you must therefore determine if a monthly payment works for you. 7. Eat at home. Meals prepared and consumed at home may be quite cost-effective. All you have to do is reduce your reliance on takeout. The odd indulgence at a fancy restaurant is okay, but starting to cook at home or carrying packed lunches to work rather than dining out every day might save you money. Making a weekly food plan may make it simple. Plan your meals for the coming week and then stick to them. Even for those who don't consider themselves to be cooks, the internet provides a seemingly limitless array of culinary and recipe advice. Begin by making at least one meal a week at home. Bring your lunches to work starting next week. You might be amazed by how much money you can actually save. 8. Pay off your debt. Carrying a lot of debt, especially on high-interest credit cards, is one of the costliest mistakes you can make. If you want to improve your financial situation and open up new financial opportunities, pay off your debt as soon as possible. If you're the forgetful type, you should list all your existing debts, including credit card debt, student loan debt, and vehicle loans, and determine the minimum payments you must make to stay on top of each of them. Making minimum payments will not get you out of debt quickly, so consider your fixed costs and how much of your discretionary spending budget you can set aside for debt repayment. Additionally, you can try to lower the interest rate on the debt by requesting a lower rate from the issuer. merging several loans into one, or moving high-interest debt to a low-interest credit card, such as a balance transfer card, to lower the overall interest rate. Afterward, create a debt repayment strategy and develop responsible spending practices to pay off the debt as rapidly as possible. Your monthly budget will be larger the faster you pay off your debt. As I previously said, paying off credit card debt must be a top priority. Unlike your automobile or house payment, it increases with time and is hard to cut back on. 9. Stop using credit cards. Credit cards are a great and handy tool to have. They are a lifesaver when needed, and they do a great job getting that credit score up. However, for some people, their lack of self-control and an easy and available remedy to their problems in the form of a credit card means that they quickly dig themselves into disaster. You could be depending too much on your credit cards if you are having trouble making ends meet each month. If you continue using your credit cards as a crutch to get by, you'll soon find yourself in debt. Your ability to pay your expenses, save for retirement, or pursue other financial objectives will be constrained as a result of this. So stop using your credit cards if you genuinely want to take charge of your money. To prevent accumulating more debt, in addition to creating a budget so that you don't have to use credit, try switching to cash or debit cards, opening a short-term savings account, and using funds from it for major purchases, or leaving your credit card at home. Credit cards have high interest rates that may quickly accumulate debt if not used wisely, and can cause significant stress in the event of an emergency. Because they feel like their money disappears too quickly each month, many people develop the bad habit of depending on their credit cards. They are tapped out and rely on their credit cards to get them through till payday after paying bills, food, rent or mortgage, and other expenses. Instead of relying only on your credit cards to cover expenses, stop using them altogether until you develop the wisdom and maturity to handle such an instrument. 10. Continue to spend quickly. A spending fast can be just what your personal finances need if you suffer from credit card debt, difficulties paying payments on time, or other financial problems. Basically, going on a spending fast simply means that you're refraining from making any discretionary purchases for a predetermined length of time. This is another great way to help you reduce your spending and get your finances in order. It may sound a bit daunting, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. You may be familiar with the well-known, and sometimes contentious, detox or cleansing fasts for your body, such as giving up sugar or gluten for 30 days, or even surviving solely on fruit or vegetable juices for a few weeks. But did you know that in order to achieve financial wellness, you may use comparable fasting or cleansing procedures to your spending and saving behaviors? These are frequently month-long periods during which spending is restricted and only categories like food, transportation, and recurring expenditures are exempted. If you're ready to live simply for a while, commit to this challenge to boost your bank account, alter your behavior, and determine what you need rather than just what you desire. Your perspective on money can even change as a result of the event. It's my hope that this has been helpful to you. Now you can always be one step ahead of your finances by just following the steps from this video. Consider the possibility that you have never had a financial problem. That simply means more money for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. With that said, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. For those that build wealth and who they hang around with, because you become who you hang around with. Have you noticed that you don't let your kids hang around with little juvenile delinquents? Right, if a little Johnny down the street's a weed head, you don't let your kid run with little Johnny, cause you know you're gonna have a weed head in your house, right? We know this, so they come home with that mouth on them. And you're going, where'd you learn that? I'll get you knocked in the next week in this house. Where do you think you could get away with that? I'll take you out and make another one looks just like you. You know it's cause they're hanging out with little Johnny, right? You know what happens? We're the same way. We're the same way. You talk like the people you hang around with. You read the books they talk about if you don't read. And all your friends watch The Bachelor. Well, here's a clue, okay? Here's what's going on. If This is all you know about is reality tea. That's not a reality. Probably we need to change our diet. Read a book. And so Charlie Tremendous Jones said 5 years from today, you'll be the same person you are today, except for the books you read, the people you meet. Don't be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. And you know this. The studies have shown that over a 10-year period of time, your income will approximate within 10 to 20% of the average of your 10 closest friends' income because you have the same habits they've got. You have the same diet, and you subject yourself to the same influences. You can't stop yourself from doing it. You will become who you hang around with, and all the studies show that we have a tendency. Now, that's not to say I'm some kind of snob, and I don't have any friends that aren't rich. Not at all. I have lots of friends, but my closest hangs are people I want to be like. That's my closest ones. Now, I'll talk to anybody, but like when our daughters were growing up, they're grown and married to wonderful men now. But they're in high school and they're wanting to go on a date. We didn't do missionary dating. You don't get to date little Johnny the weed head and lead him to Jesus. That's not gonna work, okay? We're not doing this. Little Johnny can go to camp and get saved again, We'll work on this, right? So no, you come up to our house to pick up one of our daughters. Honk your horn. You better be delivering a pizza, all right? So coming in, talking to the old man, I'll be cleaning my gun when you get home. You know the song, right? So, this kind of thing. And I'm teaching them, Dad, all the boys in the youth group are scared of you. Good. Keeps away 2 things you don't want. Baby doll, you don't want jerks, and you don't want wusses. And if I can keep both those away, and then I can teach you how to keep them away, you can pick good. And guess what? They both picked good. They both picked good. They married studs, man. I got some son-in-law, unbelievable, man. My sons-in-law are awesome, and it wasn't an accident. You see what I'm saying, y'all? You need to make these choices very, very carefully. The 4th thing is you need to save and invest. In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil. Wise people save money. That's what this means. And so it was used in the marketplace like we used green presidents' faces as a medium of exchange. If you had a carafe of oil, you were ready to do business. It was a sign of wealth. There were 2 classes of people. Poor people and rich people. Most of the people were poor people. This is the Mediterranean we're talking. They ate hummus and olives, no meat, a little bit of bread maybe a fish if they got some meat. But that was it. Rich people ate what we eat every day. Spices, good meat, Charleston food scene. You know what I'm saying, right? Cooking it up right. That's fine food. Stores of choice food and oil. Choice food and oil are symbols of wealth. So let's read that again. In the house of the wise are stores of money. By the way, the rest of that one says, and a foolish man devours all he has. If you spend everything you make, the Bible just called you a fool. Again, I've been a fool, call me a fool too, and I decided to change. Wise people save money. Why? Well, start with, we save for an emergency, right? Grandma said it. She said, save for a rainy day. It's gonna rain. You're gonna have a car wreck. You'll lose your job. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna need some money, Dave. You need to be positive. I'm positive it's gonna rain. Something's gonna come up. This one, I don't understand. Unexpected pregnancy, say what? Okay, but people come up with all kinds of things that are emergencies, right? Something's gonna happen, and then you need to save and invest so you retire with dignity. I'm gonna spend everything I make and hope the government, which is well known for its ability to handle money, will take care of me. Dumb idea. I'm not even sure some of them have opposable thumbs up there. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous, and we're counting on them in some whacked out kind of way to come be. They're not coming. There is no white horse. There is no cavalry. You're it, okay? You are in charge of your destiny, and that's great news. And so all worried about the election, And I'm not worried about the election because I made money under both parties. Turns out it wasn't up to them in either case. I've lost money under both parties. None of them sent me a check. They all just want money. They're extracting like a tick. Extracting blood all the time. That's all they do. This is the deal. The last one is all about generosity, but this is all about cheerfulness. Generosity is not just a transfer of funds. Generosity is a spirit where you decide to be a generous person. Generous people are more attractive. They smile. They're not grouchy. It's not all about them. They're the ones that open the door. They're the ones when the grocery bag has the bottom drop out and your groceries are rolling all over the parking lot. They're the ones out there helping you pick it up. These are the people that when they go out to eat, they leave a tip. You cheap, ridiculous. Well, us. I'm not one. I leave big tips because it's a form of generosity. Well, they didn't give me good service. Oh, shut up. They're carrying a tray that weighs more than you. Figure it out. They park your car in the rain and in the heat. Shut up. Give them some money. They park your $130,000 car. And you give them $3. What are you, a nut? That's Ferris Bueller parking the car there. You take care of that man. I give him a 20 bill. My car's still sitting there when I come out. It's amazing. Sounds like that guy's working his way through college or something right there. And if he says better than I deserve, that's his code for I'm getting out of debt. If they say that, you got to give him a double tip. So I give him 40. My wife's like, I'm gonna park your car. And no, you're not. You're not working your way out of college. You've already put up with me for 30 years, so it's all right. Generosity is a spirit. It changes everything in your life, but it's awfully tough to give if you're broke, in debt, and you haven't saved any money. You don't have a plan, and you're not hanging out with other people who are givers. So, change. You get to decide today. It'll change your life. It'll change your family tree. You will change everyone with your last name that follows you if you do these things. It's that powerful. It's unbelievable. The sorrows are deeper and the joys are higher. It changes everything. And when you move this money piece around, it gives you the tools to be that in the marketplace and to be that for your family. Get this monkey off your back and get that elephant out of the room because he's got to go. Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. I would like to ask you to please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notification bell to receive updates about new videos. It is also important to share this video on WhatsApp and other social media platforms because it can transform lives. And by doing this, you help us reach more people. God bless you for doing that. Stay tuned for the next video. You are blessed.